Gray water is a great concept, not really permitted, is totally pretty much legal in California now, especially in Sonoma County, and easy to do, and you're already bringing so much water into your house on a regular basis and paying a fortune to send it back to the city to clean it and process it and pump it back to you, that it would just be so much easier to use a lot of that water that's just wasted. For instance, your toilet, even with low flush toilet, is still using an amount of perfectly clean water in order to make the mechanism work to flush the toilet. Now it's just ridiculous. That water is perfectly clean, but you're just wasting it. So if you just figure out a way to either pump gray water into that tank and use gray water instead, you're instantly recycling. Plus, if you just use a bottle with water and rocks in it, you can actually, every flush is a little less, creating a regular toilet into a low flush toilet and making it still work all right. Now back to watering and gray water. Gray water is great. You can start by just putting a liner in your sink, washing your hands, rinsing off the mud, maybe using a biodegradable soap. With biodegradable soap, you only want to put it on like shrubs or whatever. If you want to reuse it for your vegetables, so like when you rinse off your plants, or rinse off a cutting board that you were cutting your vegetables on, or rinsing your hands off from the dirt that you're using in the backyard when you're gardening, because now you're out and about, you're using your hands, you're in the garden and everything. That water, without the chemicals in it, that can go back over your plants that you're actually eating. So now your plants are creating nutrients for your soil. You're rinsing them, so they're creating more fresh water to be watered with the next day. Using just a little bit of bucketing and watering by hand, you can really make this efficient. You can store the water, you can do all sorts of stuff. You can go further and have rainwater catchment. There's laundry to landscape. There's a lot of different things where if you go on YouTube and start searching some of these key terms, you're going to start finding a lot of people in videos that have done it already. There's actually a gentleman with the Daily Axe here in Sonoma County that's done an amazing job making his house sustainable, and his videos inspiring, and someday, that's all I can say. But with that being said, we want to move back onto your shelter, like his house. The whole thing starts building upon itself. The water, the rain, the soil, the dirt, the garden, the food, everything it starts becoming a simple habitat or ecosystem for yourself and your family. Your kids can even grow up in this environment, learn a fresh, proper way. I'd say new, but in reality, we've been doing it for thousands of years. The new way of doing it is the whole Facebook, look at the Big Mac I'm eating type way, the American way. That's the new way, and it doesn't work. It worked for thousands of years the other way. Why not go back to our roots, figure out where we're coming from? So with that being said, your kids can learn and grow up in an amazing area, an amazing mindset of how you can eat fresh and nutritious. So now we're going to move on to your family. Everyone starts pitching in. You can have more time. You do need to go out. We do have a reality of a world that we live in, and with that, we do need to go out and make a living. And making a living isn't always the easiest way. You spend a lot of time away from your house. You can't do all this stuff. But with kids and family living here, if we all understand our ability to help out, our responsibility. Each one of us has our own individual responsibility. Same with our kids. You teach your kids the fundamentals and realities of their responsibilities around the house and the homestead. You turn this tenth of an acre into a working farm practically. Yes, of course, there's still going to be things that you need to store. It's hard to become 100% sustainable on just a tenth of an acre. I think it's actually impossible. But you can do so much. You can recycle so much of your water. You can cut down your bills. With soaring gas prices and the potential for World War III every second, and 2012 coming to a glooming end, and the natural disasters of 2011, and what the future has to hold, you never know. But in all reality, the best way to get your mind past it all is just to think, what can I do today to better the way we live? Go out and buy a tomato plant, plant it, keep it growing, actually make it live. I read a statistic, and I really don't like using statistics, but it said like 70% of all gardens planted in the United States each year, like backyard gardens, never get harvested. People water them, people take care of them, but throughout, 70% of them just never get harvested. They either go to seed, or they die, or they get forgot about, or something, but nothing ever actually feeds anyone from it. So it's just a waste of time and money, and then that's used to, deter people from wanting to do it. And they make a fortune from people that do that as well. So living sustainable, having it as a lifestyle, you get to enjoy those sale breaks or whatever at the store when they're like, the season's over, and then you're like, well, no, my season's still going, so I'm just going to get a discount when it's all clearance, and I can pick all the stuff up. So there's a way to, keep the system going, work with the system that's established. Once your kids are helping, you automate some stuff. you can still produce all this and go work. You know, you can work a 9 to 5, but maybe your bills aren't expensive and you don't need the newest iPhone or whatever. You don't need to work nearly as much. You can spend more time at home with your kids doing this, teach them way more, and not have to have that, you know, $50,000 to $100,000 a year job. You build a business at home online with the internet now. You've got solar panels on your roof or wind power, whatever you want to do there. I didn't even talk about electricity. That's a whole other field. But you can do so much with electricity and keep yourself going there. But I want to make this video as short as possible. There's a lot to talk about, so it's going to run long. But